Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing great. I really didn't think there was going to be that much news between yesterday and today, but surprisingly, I woke up and apparently there's a lot of great news for Quest 2 owners. So, what is up, everyone? I'm Mysticle, and let's get right into the XR news. So first of all, we've got the V49 update coming up, and this isn't going to be a life-changing update, even though originally I thought it was going to be much bigger than it actually is, as Meta announced it on Twitter with the kind of announcement that you're going to be able to have a little bit more customization to your Meta home environment, which I was hoping was going to mean something along the lines of the PC software, that we can put in different furniture, we can kind of put stuff in ourselves, maybe get achievements in games and get stuff, but apparently no, it's just a bunch of new home environments. Either way, let me tell you about some new features coming up in the V49 update. And as usual, Meta software updates, they kind of roll out to different people first, so you might not get it at the very beginning, but you will get it eventually. First of all, we've got the home environment improvements. Last month, Meta released a new home environment just in time for the holidays. You can set the Polar Village as your home, but maybe you don't like the cold, and the mountains, or even objects. Excuse me, Meta? If you're ready to step outside the boundaries of reality, check out the new abstraction environment included in V49. An explosion of color and amorphous blobs. Abstraction is a perfect escape when you need a place to focus. This one certainly looks quite interesting. Just looking at the pictures, this is basically everything we have to go off of. This one is very, very different. And as much as I like Meta adding all these home environments, I would certainly much more prefer them to allow us that actual customization that I was hoping for at the beginning. We're also upgrading a handful of existing home environments while we're at it. The V49 update will add additional hotspots to the Desert Terrace, Space Station, and Winter Lodge environments, so you can more freely move around, including sitting on chairs and couches when your friends come to visit, so hanging out feels more natural. Real chair or couch not included. Wow, Meta, you are such a joker. And one small quality of life fix, you can now move around your home and rotate which way your avatar is facing at the destination, even with the UI active. Previously, the UI would prevent you from rotating. I mean, that I'd say that is definitely a quality of life fix that should have been working from the very beginning, but it's still nice to see. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the home environment customization that I was personally hoping for. Do not disturb. Do not disturb is now a thing. There you are, creeping through the barren and blighted world of Into the Radius. So nervous that you're literally holding your breath. And then a notification pops up to let you know that your friend has just started playing Beat Saber. Wait, that's a thing? I thought they already had Do Not Disturb. I never got notifications while I was in game. That is stupid. Well-meaning? Absolutely. Distracting? It can be. Yeah, that is very distracting. That could absolutely ruin the immersion in a game. I thought that was already a thing. Maybe I went into like the original Android settings app and turned on Do Not Disturb, which I don't remember. That could have been something I did. You'll find this new mode under the notifications panel in your settings menu, under the Do Not Disturb section. Honestly, that should have been a thing from the very beginning. That is pretty crazy, but at least it's there now. Am I right? And the Family Center. We continue to build new tools and resources and adjust existing ones to help parents and guardians support their teens across Meta's technologies. With V49, they're making it easier to set up and manage parental supervision tools across the MetaQuest platform. While these tools can still be accessed from the MetaQuest mobile app, now you can also access these settings, tools, and educational resources on the web from the Family Center. There you can get answers to common questions, discover what parental supervision tools are available, or simply make changes to existing parental supervision settings. Children have been known to do stupid things in virtual reality. There's no denying that, and I think that if parents have kind of access to help their teens or their children navigate throughout VR, I don't want to get too much into things here as I'm not a parent, so I obviously don't know how to parent. In fact, I don't think there's any guidebook on how to parent anyway, but I feel like the more tools a parent has in order to keep their child safe and in order to protect them, obviously not overprotect, I've heard of that as well, and that can go completely the other way, but you get what I'm trying to say. I would love to hear some parents' opinions about this down in the comment section below. That's V49 for you, some pretty interesting things coming up, but I'm personally much more interested in hand tracking 2.1. I don't know how many of you use hand tracking. I use hand tracking a lot. It's actually become my main. When I first turn on my headset, before I jump into a game or title, I actually end up using hand tracking. And in fact, when I record most of my YouTube tutorials on games, apps, and how to mod stuff or things like that, I use hand tracking. It's ended up working so well that I can even put my hands together like this and the Quest recognizes it. Fast movements are still sometimes iffy, but to be honest with you, it's gotten to a point where I feel more than comfortable using that over my controllers when going to maybe watch a movie or something like that. Quest 2 controller-free hand tracking just got another significant quality update. Hand tracking 2.0 arrived on the Quest and the original Quest last year, bringing dramatic improvements to using your hands without controllers. And yeah, according to me, it was a drastic upgrade. I mean, at the very beginning, fast movements would completely make the headset's cameras not know what's happening, and putting your hands together would just make your hands teleport to a different location. That is no longer the case. Tracking loss has been reduced in 2.1, meaning your hands should disappear temporarily less often, and the reacquisition time has been stepped up, so if the system does lose tracking of a hand, it should reappear much sooner. Additionally, 2.1 adds a new neural network to improve the accuracy of prediction. Meta claims this delivers less overshooting and smoother hand poses, especially for fast motions. Finally, 2.1 improves the reliability of the pinch gesture used across the Quest system interface, which Meta claims reduces false detections. So yeah, according to me, that's a pretty big deal. Again, as a person who uses hand tracking basically on a daily basis, I love them adding these improvements. I'm very interested to see how much of a drastic improvement 2.1 is. Let's move on to the next piece of news. Education in VR. I really like this part of virtual reality. I've spoken to a lot of people, and a lot of people really think that education in VR could be massive if it was utilized correctly. Prisms VR wants to teach your kids math on the Quest 2. Following an enterprise launch in 2021, which saw developer Prisms of Reality bring this educational program to 92 schools districts across 23 states, Prisms VR is now receiving a consumer release called Prisms Math on Quest 2. It's designed for grade 8 to 11 math students, tutors, and teachers, offering several content libraries that target middle school learning with fractions and ratios, algebra, geometry, and more. Okay, instantly, I'm very confused. I don't know what's happening. This is the American education system. We have a very different education system here, but what I want to focus on here is the actual education part of virtual reality. You can do so much in virtual reality, whether it's showing people the past, like we've spoken about before, showing them past experiences is just going to be so much better in virtual reality than just showing it to them in, like, say, a movie on a flat screen, as they can actually experience being there, see the scale of whatever was happening, and things like that. I think education in virtual reality has massive potential that is just not being fully utilized yet, and I am loving seeing all these companies actually putting it out there and seeing so many schools actually already using it. I had no clue about that, but yeah, next piece of news. Finally, we've got the Microsoft HoloLens, and Microsoft is reportedly making cuts in HoloLens Group amid wider downsizing. The company announced yesterday it's laying off 10,000 employees, around 5% of its total workforce, citing macroeconomic conditions. Microsoft is far from the only big tech company to make this move. This week, Amazon started laying off 18,000 people. Meta laid off more than 11,000 people in November, and Snap laid off 20% of its staff in September. Google and Apple have instituted hiring freezing for some teams. Microsoft was pushing ahead with IVAS, a heavily modified variant of the HoloLens 2 for the US Army. The contract is theoretically worth up to $21.88 billion over 5 to 10 years with a maximum eventual order of 120,000 units. However, it has been plagued with poor performance reviews. Earlier this month, the US Congress rejected further orders, and we actually talked about this in a previous video. The layoffs did include the mixed reality group responsible for the HoloLens 2 and the IVAS militarized version. I do assume that the layoffs for the IVAS militarized version was maybe because it failed so many tests, and maybe they were trying to get, I don't know, a new kind of view on things. I, of course, offer my condolences to anyone that has lost their job because of this, and I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Also, for those of you that are interested, the new PSVR 2 launch lineup has been revealed. I'm going to leave a link to all the titles that are going to be there during launch down below, but here is just a glimpse that Sony teased to us on Twitter. It's looking quite good for the PSVR 2, and it makes me wonder whether I really should be trying to get my hands on it. Either way, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for checking out this one. I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please do leave a like. If you disliked it, I guess this one works too, but let me know why down in the comment section below. Thank you so much to the Patreons supporting this channel. You guys help me out a ton, paying my bills, paying my subscriptions, and helping me make these videos better. If you guys are not yet part of the community, check out the Discord down below, and check out the Reddit where I want to see you posting your spice memes. And as usual, if you guys want to be notified about future content coming up on the channel, make sure to smack the subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video. Peace.